Hello, Leland Community United Methodist Church and our friends that listen in as we share these Advent devotionals. This is Pastor Tim, and here we are already in this third Sunday of Advent, moving towards the fourth Sunday, Christmas soon to come. Many years ago, when I was 5-6 years old, my parents packed me up in a car, and my dad, my mom, and I traveled to Tennessee. My dad had worked with a man named George who had retired a few years before. He was married to Ruth. George was one of my father's best friends. They worked in the shop together. And Mom's best friend at that time was George's wife, Ruth. When they pulled up after George's retirement, moved to Tennessee to be closer to family, it really left a hole in my mom's heart. Talking on the phone was a rather poor substitute for the chance to just get together. And so the day came when we loaded up the car and headed off towards Nashville, Tennessee. We got a good start, although my father was not early at such things, and by the time we got on the road, it was already late morning. And at this point, we started to travel. And being just a little guy, it didn't take me long to fall asleep in the back seat of the car. At some point, I woke up and started asking any kid's inevitable question: are we there yet? My father was still in pretty good spirits, and he said no, but he says, we'll stop for the night someplace. As we continued to drive, I'd nap for a little while, wake up, and next time I woke up, it was dark, and we stopped at a motel. And Dad went in, and Dad came out. I started to discover what the words meant: no vacancy. So we continued along the road. We were in Ohio, and I don't have to tell any good Michigander that Ohio is long, frequently boring, especially at night. We kept traveling. Dad stopped at another motel. It said no vacancy, but that didn't deter him. He went in and he came out. No vacancy. Finally, I don't know how late it was, but finally we found a place. My mom looked at it when we got in the room, and I could tell by the look on her face she wasn't impressed. But it was a place to sleep for the night. So we just settled in, got our cooler out, had a couple sandwiches, and settled in for the night. I'm wondering, because this time of year, as we think about Christmas, we think about the nativity story. And I want to share with you just a few verses from Luke chapter 2. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. And while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. And she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. And she wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room for them at the inn. It makes me wonder about what happens when people are turned away. The Middle East is known for their hospitality, and I'm sure that innkeeper wanted in the worst way to try to have a room for Mary and Joseph and the baby soon to come. But there was no room. Everybody was in town for the census. Everybody apparently had made a reservation ahead of time. Not Joseph, not Mary. The innkeeper had perhaps a sudden change of heart as he saw that couple moving dejectedly away. Maybe he said, wait a minute, I've got a place in the stable. It's not great, but it's dry. It'll keep you warm enough. And so into the stable they went. What would happen in this day and age if we were to be as hospitable as that innkeeper, even though he had no room? He finally found a place for them. What would happen in our day and age if people would open their hearts more? We can make this story about immigration. We could make this story about lots of things, but I guess I'm thinking two things. One, what if we were to be the type of church that opened their hearts to everyone? I think that's what we are, but we're called to test that and prove it day in and day out. So this Christmas, let's make a pledge to ourselves that we will make Leland Community United Methodist Church a true place of hospitality. And we'll put that to the test each and every day and show our neighbors that we are truly a people who will open their doors and their hearts to people, no matter who they or what they are. And the other thing that we need to do as we prepare during this season of Advent, the other thing we need to do is to open our hearts to receive the Holy Family, Mary, Joseph, and the soon-to-be-born Jesus. What will Christmas be like this year if we are able to do that? Happy Advent. Continue to journey through the season. The day is coming soon. We'll see you soon.